The Ohio Water Polo Referees Association, fostering the development of water polo officials. Welcome to a fan's guide to understanding water polo rules and interpretations, presented by the Ohio Water Polo Referees Association. My name's Chad Packer, and I'm the supervisor of officials. I don't have a script for this. I am just going to roll through this PowerPoint presentation that I usually give parents, and we'll just kind of go from there. I do want to tell you about what you're going to learn today, I hope. The presentation is going to discuss the basic rules, kind of game setup, what you're going to see in here in the pool area while you're watching, and then equipment used in the game. So what are you going to see in here? There's going to be a ton of whistles pointing in directions and these numbers that referees are using on their hands, as well as some signalization to kind of let players and coaches know what a player did, right? So if there was a holding, referees have a signal for holding. If it's ball under, we have signals for that, all that type of stuff. We use different whistle blasts to kind of control the game, right? So a single whistle is going to be an ordinary foul. That's just going to sound like tweet, and we're going to hold a hand out in one direction. You might hear a double whistle for an offensive foul, or what we call contra foul. So that might be tweet, tweet, and that's going to point in the direction that we want the ball to go now, and oftentimes kind of point or signal to the area where we might have seen that contra foul, just to help coaches and maybe even players in the water know, yeah, that was you. And then multiple whistles for personal fouls, which are exclusions and penalties. Referees kind of have their own referee exclusion whistles for this. Generally, it is going to be tweet, 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 right? So a quick double followed by a single to exclude the player. We would kind of signal our hand towards the defensive end corner, hold up the number of the player who's been excluded, and probably signal soon after what that player did. If they've been excluded, if it is a penalty, we would just simply hold up 5 fingers because we take penalty throws at the 5-meter line, which are very similar to penalty shots in soccer, right? So that's what some of the things you're going to see in here. Some more things you're going to see in here. In just about every sport, the whistle means stop. But in water polo, we like to say the whistle means go. Oftentimes in basketball, right, as soon as the whistle is blown, everybody stops because nothing can happen. Things are always happening in water polo. Even when the whistle blows, there are players still continuing to move because the offense continues. The whistle generally just means a free throw is about to occur. You'll also see those exclusions we talked about. Players are going to swim to their bench area and sit out for 20 seconds, very similar to a power play in hockey. We call those 6-on-5s in water polo. Fouls are not always whistled. Referees really try and apply the advantage rule because we want to benefit the offense the most. Water polo is said to whistle to the advantage of the offense. So if a whistle might prevent an offensive player from now shooting because of his or her location in the water, we have to think, wait a minute, is this going to be most advantageous to them? If that player can't do something or a pass might be able to be made from that quick whistle, then it's to the offensive advantage to blow that whistle. If the defense is going to be in a better position because of the whistle, we generally try and stay away from that as well. So you may see a player getting physically moved around the pool by a defensive player, and unless that is really taking away offensive advantage, we are not going to step in and whistle it because there might be something somewhere else that's going to be more advantageous to the offense. So that's kind of the advantage rule there at its most basic form. Referees are always trying to restore that which was lost, if it was positional or possession. If it was possession, it's going to be an ordinary foul. I have the ball, I drop the ball, you are continuing to hold me and prevent me from doing what I'm trying to do. I'm going to go get that ball and get an ordinary foul, which is just basically a passing opportunity, generally. If it is a positional foul, if I've turned you and I have maybe a physical advantage going towards my offensive goal and you commit a foul, that's likely going to be an exclusion or a penalty, depending upon where it is in the water, and also maybe even depending upon the time as well. So those are things we are trying to restore as referees. The field of play. Field of play is new this year. We had some different markers come into play. There is going to be a 2-meter marker, which is going to be a red cone. There's going to be a cone at 5 meters for where we take penalty throws. And there's going to be a yellow cone at 6 meters. So this yellow area has now been extended to be the area where we start to think about penalties instead of exclusions. The pool can be shallow or deep. If the pool is shallow, goalies can stand on the bottom all the way out to the 6 meter line. Goalies can use 2 hands as well out to 6 meters. Once the goalie gets past 6 meters, anywhere down the rest of the pool, goalies can come past mid pool now. They're just like any other player, right? One hand, can't stand on the bottom, that type of stuff. This is a basic setup of a water polo offense. There are going to be, it's generally a numbering system. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of looks like an umbrella. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or the center forward. This is going to be the center defender. Blues on defense here. It's going to be the center defender. X1, X2, X3, X4, X5. You will also sometimes see the pool split right and left. Okay, so this would be the left as we're facing the goal, always called the left. Sometimes this is called a left wing and a left flat. This is generally called the point in that instance. This is going to be the right flat and the right wing. So sometimes you will hear flat picks where coming up here, or you might hear 2-1 picks where 2 is driving down to 1, or a 3-2 pick where 2 is going to curl off and maybe try and drive to the goal. 2 referees in the pool. There's going to, or excuse me, not in the pool area. Thank God when I have to be in the pool, I wouldn't be able to do that anymore. There's a backcourt referee and an attack referee. You can kind of see the general triangle areas that they are watching. Generally, the attack referee is refereeing his or her feet in the center. The backcourt referee is generally refereeing 1, 2, and 3, and the attack referee and the backcourt referee are kind of sharing 4, depending upon that pair's location in the water. So lots of pairs to watch. So 6 field players plus a goalie makes 7 total players in the pool. And again, basic setup of the game. The goals are 10 feet wide and 3 feet high. If it is an all-deep pool, and an all-deep pool is going to be something that is more than 5 feet deep. If the pool is less than 5 feet deep, the goal is going to be 8 feet off the bottom of the water. So we just jump into some simple mathematics here. Let's say the pool is 3 feet deep. You're going to take 8 minus 3. That goal is going to be 5 feet off the water. Remember, that goalie can stand on the bottom, though. If the pool is 4 feet deep, 8 minus 4 is going to be 4 feet high. So pretty good sized goal in the shallow end generally. But generally, in all deep pools are going to be floating goals. They have floating mechanisms under them, basically kickboards usually, and those guys just kind of stay floating the entire time. The ball has to be primarily yellow or gold in color. There are some colors that come in with some certain brands of water polo balls. Boys are going to play with a size 5. Girls are going to play with a size 4. A size 5 let's start over here. A size 4 is about the size of a volleyball. A size 5 is a little bit bigger, not quite the same size as a size 5 soccer ball, if you're familiar with that. Not quite the size of a basketball. The balls have these like micro cuts in them to make them tacky when players hold them. They're not sticky, but they do have they're pretty grippable when they get wet. So that's what the ball is going to look like. About 7 to 8 pounds per square inch given a certain ball, or 12 to 13 given another brand. Okay, so for timeouts, there's going to be 3 per game. Those are going to be 2 minutes in length, and each team's going to get 1 30-second timeout as well. Timeouts can be called by the offense anytime the offense is in possession of the ball, and defense is allowed to call it any time after the offense calls it, except before a penalty throw. For rules basics, that's kind of all you need to know to this point. Game lengths, most varsity games are 7-minute quarters, and JVs are generally 6-minute quarters. In tournaments, almost every game is just going to be 6-minute quarters. There's going to be a 30-second shot clock, a 20-second exclusion clock. Like I said, tournaments may vary the lengths of games to save time or to not exhaust players, because sometimes teams will play 4 to 5 games in a weekend, which can be pretty exhausting here. So that's a basic understanding of the rules. If you guys have any questions, you can always contact me, or just grab me on deck in between games, or if I'm sitting at the end on an off game, anyone can always come over and talk to me about water polo or anything. I like to talk to people. You can email me at OWPRAORG@gmail.com or OWPRA.org@gmail.com, and I will be happy to answer any of your questions. We'll see you on deck.